5 minutes away. Lovely.
soccer analysts for those guys. And let's start with you, Mike. What a great occasion. What a great thing this is. It was just 8 years ago that this team was in its infancy.
I was thinking about the very first game, and we actually had the NCAA tournament, and the Huskies were down in Portland. And I had to go down to Portland, and you stayed here to cover the first game.
I stayed here and covered the game. It was fantastic.
And what a start it was. And from that start, they packed the place. They love soccer here in the Northwest. The fans, the fan experience at CenturyLink Field just blows away any other in MLS. And for these fans to enjoy this moment, this day, to get a championship, and how they did it. I said it on Saturday night. This is like a Disney script. I mean, really. The coach gets replaced halfway through the season. A lifelong Seattle soccer guy comes in and leads them to the promised land.
Yeah.
It's absolutely unbelievable.
If you made that Disney movie script, no one would buy it, right?
No one would.
It would have to happen for real.
It's for real.
And it did.
Well, Diego, let me ask you this. Give us some inside perspective, because Mike really said it well. Everyone's asking, how did they do this? What happened this season? You had a chance to talk to the players after the big match. What did they tell you?
Well, Anna, it's been a journey, actually. Yeah, like Mike was saying, nobody expected 4.5 months ago the Sounders were in 9th place of the Western Conference. And they were able to pull it off in this epic win. I think there's two main factors, and we all know it. Brian Schmetzer, when Sigi Schmid got pulled out and he came in with a lot of emotion, he connected with the players. He knew everyone on the team. And also Nico Lodeiro, he's been an amazing player for the Seattle Sounders. I remember I interviewed for KUNS the first week he got here, and he didn't have any knowledge about MLS. He's been playing in South America, in Argentina, in Uruguay,
right?
And he said, "Well, I just want to play and get a good result, get to the playoffs." But they didn't expect
you shook it up,
to win
Diego.
it, right?
Thank you very much.
We're going to get down live now to Kelly Koopmans, who's down in Westlake Center, close to all those trolleys. Kelly, what's the scene like there? Are you surrounded by madness?
I've got a sea of rave green all around me, Eric. Take a look at some of the crowd we've got right here. How are you guys doing? Oh, yes, I would say they are excited. It was just moments ago, we can tell you, we had Coach Schmetzer up here on a stand where he hoisted that trophy for the first time in front of this crowd, for the first time right in front of their own city. Who's an excited Sounders fan? Who do we got here? All right, I'm going to talk to you, sir. What can you tell me? How exciting is this for you? How long have you loved the Sounders?
I've loved Sounders since I came to Washington in 2009. I've always believed in them. You made us proud. No, Sounders fan number one right here. We're so proud of you guys. We believed in you. We never gave up. I'm proud of you. Good job, guys. Let's go, Sounders!
And it's that storyline you guys have mentioned so many times. When people thought this team was down and out, here they are in the heart of their own city, now on their victory parade right through the heart of downtown Seattle. Earlier this morning, we saw Jordan Morris, Brad Evans, the entire team packed on there. And I will tell you, their excitement said enough. They were the ones who really got this party started. So I don't know about you. We're going to enjoy the party we've got going on here as we see all of them go now. This seems to be the last one, headed right down 4th. And we are pretty excited because we know we have crews spread all along the route to capture all of the excitement. Back to you guys.
Kelly, it looks like everyone's in a great mood. And what I love about this is this concept of the march. I remember their very first match ever. Drew Carey led a little march from a park in Pioneer Square to the stadium, and there was maybe 1,000, 2,000 people. Contrast that with today. Thousands are marching in an MLS Cup victory parade through the middle of Seattle. It's just fantastic. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you see the march getting underway right now. They will slowly make their way up 4th. They'll take a right on Cedar Street, then north on 5th Avenue, and then west at Thomas Street, here into Seattle Center, where the party will really begin.
And the great thing is we see a lot of people marching in the streets of Seattle often.
That's right.
Know how to march. This is part of their deal. They do it for every match. So they'll go ahead and take it. And what a great day this is going to be for Sounders fans all together.
We got reporters fanned out all along the parade route. Let's go now to Como Steve McCarron. Steve, where are you? And give us an idea of the vibe where you are.
You know, we're just a couple blocks up from where Kelly Koopmans is situated at 4th and Stewart. A great vantage point from our spot at this point. Just saw the Seattle police officers on their bicycles pass by. Now you start to see those Emerald City supporters with that huge banner coming forward, starting to hear those cheers with all these fans. I got to tell you, I was a little worried when we left Como Plaza this morning, about 15 minutes after 10 o'clock. Not really seeing a lot of people lined up along 4th Avenue, but just within the past 45 minutes to an hour, you have had all of these Sounders fans essentially line up along 4th Avenue as far as I can see at this point. All of them pumped. All of them have their phones out taking video and pictures of the Emerald City supporters as they pass by. Just a fantastic atmosphere at this point this morning. I want to bring in Bailey, who's right over here. I'm going to put you on the spot. How are you feeling this morning, Bailey?
Good.
Good? What do you think of seeing all this in person?
Good.
Good. Are you excited for Seattle?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's a good opportunity for them.
What do you think about Seattle becoming the MLS Cup champions?
I feel good about it.
Yeah. Excited? Really cool to see this, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So essentially, we're just in a sea of Emerald City supporters right now. Scarves up, banners up in the air. So many people just having a fantastic time and so proud of this team and what they have done for the city of Seattle. I got to tell you, I've talked with a number of supporters over the past couple of days, ever since the team won the MLS Cup over the weekend. So many of them were saying, hey, this team obviously has a huge following here in Seattle, but maybe it doesn't get the respect that it deserves. And they really hope that this MLS Cup victory will help in that. They are so proud of what these boys have been able to achieve from over the summer when they were the bottom of the Western Conference. They kept on winning, earned a spot in the playoffs, and now they can call themselves champions. So how are you feeling this morning?
I am so excited to be here.
What is it like to watch this?
Amazing. It was a tough season and a great comeback, and it's been a long time. So,
What do you think it means for Seattle?
everything. I mean, it was a big comeback. It shows how strong they are, and there's been a lot of changes on the roster, coaching, and they dealt with it. Look at them.
Does it feel real?
It's about to. In a minute it will.
And it's about to feel real because we're getting a prime spot of the players on those Emerald City trolleys as they pass by. You can kind of barely see the MLS Cup trophy as they hold it out of the side of the trolleys there, but just a fantastic atmosphere here this afternoon. Mary and Eric, just surreal to watch this, isn't it?
Yeah, it really, there's the trophy.
Oh, there it is.
Being held out of the trolley.
There it is.
Fantastic. Look at the joy on these players' faces. I mean, you can see this is not just another day. This is the day in their soccer careers, riding around on these trolleys, surrounded by adoration. And Mike, you made an interesting comment about the vehicles that are being used.
Well, these championship parades and the ones that we've seen, these guys, of course, taking the trolleys going up 4th Avenue. If you remember when the Storm won their WNBA title, they had a parade of sorts, and they ended up in Subarus around the Space Needle. And then when the Seahawks had theirs for winning Super Bowl 48, it was the duck boats that were going down 4th Avenue.
I guess they all have their thing.
Unless Kenmore Air gets involved with the next one, I don't know what we're going to do next.
Hey, Diego, I want to ask you about these players and the sense of team that they have exhibited throughout what has been an up and down roller coaster season. You have seen them in high moments and low moments and contrasted to what we're seing here today.
Yeah, so they always been a really close group, and that's, we have to address that because back 5 months ago when they were in 9th place, they were still a group, and they were confident that they were going to be able to make it to the playoffs. Even with Sigismund out, I think that was when they decided to say, okay, we need to pull it off. We've been in every playoff since we started in the MLS. So I think that sensation and that group was always there, and that's that's for me one of the key factors to get the win. And then there's Brian Schmetzer, the coach. Yeah.
From a Seattle guy, this is
He's
fantastic.
not a rah-rah
this is
guy.
totally awesome.
He doesn't seem
there are
like a
so
guy
many people
that
out
gives
here
big
with
speeches.
Sounder colors
Let's
on.
go to him live
I'm really
now.
happy.
What are you feeling right now with all the love and this huge fan base that has sort of watched the progression of this team this season? Started out a little rough over the summer, but obviously you guys pulled it off. What is
but it's testament to these fans that stuck with us.
What do you think this means for Seattle?
Well, we're a great sports town. We got some great sports teams here. I'm very happy about our civic pride today. Happy for all the Sounder fans and really happy for the players.
Congratulations to you. Fantastic season. So proud of you.
Well, he has reason to be proud.
Oh,
doesn't he?
absolutely. Diego, what did he do different than Siggy Schmidt?
I think, well, he knew all the team players. And, the one ironic thing is that before the Sounders became a MLS team, Brian Schmetzer was the coach, right? And then Siggy Schmidt, he goes out 4.5 months ago, and now he's the champion. And I was able to talk to Ziggy in Toronto. He was at the game, and he was supporting the Sounders, of course. And I think what did Brian do? I think he motivated the players. The players needed a fresh start or a mindset, because Siggy is a great coach, but he has his way of working with the players. And I think Brian he knows the player. He's more, I would say, confident with the players, and he likes to talk with them more. And he yells more than Siggy Schmidt for sure. So you don't see those locker room talks with Siggy.
And to Siggy's credit, they went to the playoffs every year.
Absolutely.
Of existence. And he also helped bring over some key players in Chad Marshall and Brad Evans, who won MLS Cups in Columbus with Siggy Schmidt as a coach. So this was the backbone of this team, was kind of put in place by Siggy Schmidt.
Yeah.
But it was Mr. Schmetzer that pulled off a great win.
We're going to go back down to Steve McCarron down along the parade route. Steve?
It's just a huge mob of blue and rave green at this point. You see all these supporters who've been lined up along 4th Avenue, going up to these trolleys, getting pictures, getting videos. It's just an unreal experience this point. I heard you screaming a little bit earlier. Tell me what it's like to sort of stand here and watch this and just kind of take it all in.
This is such a historic moment for our town, and the Sounders, I think, are the epitome of Seattle. And so to watch them bring the MLS Cup home, I mean, she was a season ticket holder in 1974. This is a team that has deep roots in our community, so we're so proud of the Sounders.
1974, and here we are today. What are you feeling?
It's wonderful fun. We brought our little kids, and now others are bringing little kids. So it's great fun to come celebrate with them after all these years.
When you think about the history, and you think about the up and downs, and obviously the season was a little rough over the summer. A lot of people had their doubts about this team, but they kept on going. And here they are, MLS Cup champs, and kind of going through this parade right now.
Well, that's why we had to come today. I've learned to be a sports fan with my spouse of 55 years and adult sons in their 50s and grandsons going on 20. And so it's in the family, it's in our blood. We're Seattleites through and through.
Thank you so much. All right, we're going to try to make our way up here a little bit if we can squeeze past through some of these fans. Just an unreal atmosphere at this point. So essentially a lot of those folks that were in Westlake Park gathering for the start of this march have now kind of stepped up behind the trolleys there, and we're going to kind of make our way up here towards the front of the Emerald City trolleys. You can see all along 4th Avenue. I mean, just as far as the eye can see at this point, everybody wearing their blue and rave green, and it's just an incredible atmosphere to sort of take this all in. I mean, look at all this. Trying to push our way up to the beginning here.
I hope Steve's going to be okay. He's in the mosh pit right now.
He is.
You guys, I'm really struck by the sense of ownership that these fans have with this team. From the very beginning, the ownership of the team, Adrian Hanauer, Joe Roth, Paul Allen, Drew Carey, they've made these fans, they've done such a great job of making them feel like they are not just observers of this team, but a part of the success of this team. You see it in their outreach in the communities with the rally groups, the booster clubs that are in all the various communities. You see it in the game. You talked about the game experience with the chanting and the songs. They feel like they're a part of it, and this is their day, not just this team's day, don't you think?
Totally, and there's so many different fan groups that collectively make the whole Sounders fan base, but there's different groups and different chants, and if you're at a game, it's hard to keep track of who's saying what and who's chanting what at certain times, but they all own their fandom of this team, and they're all so proud. It's pretty cool. You see Sounders gear all around town, and I mean, these people really have something to sing about now. I mean, they're champs.
Oh, for sure.
And Diego, really, the best ownership, the best team, the best fan participation. There was only one thing missing before this season, and now they have it.
Yeah, totally.
There it is.
There you go. That's the MLS Cup that they were looking for. And it's amazing to, being in Toronto, and there were close to 500 fans that went to the stadium, and they were chanting the entire time against 36,000 Canadians that were supporting Toronto. But, talking about these groups, Emerald City supporters as the biggest group, Gorilla FC, Barra Fuerza Verde, the Spanish group fan base. It's the best fan base in MLS by far, and they recognize it worldwide, actually. If you go to Europe, to Spain, to France, to Mexico, South America, they know Sounders because their fan base is great, and they support every game. So.
Well, you know what? The reality is, I think whether you are a soccer fan in this town or not, you cannot dispute that the concentration and the energy and the vibe of Sounders fans is probably the highest and the most colorful of any Seattle sport fans.
Well, I said it at the beginning. These don't come around very often. It happened in '79 with the Supersonics, in 2004 with the Seattle Storm, 2014 with the Seahawks, and now we're seeing it again, this thing that binds a community.
Right.
It brings us all together.
Yeah.
It happens in time of war. Mm-hmm. It happens in time of an attack, say Pearl Harbor or 9/11. It happens in times of political upheaval. And it happens when sports teams win championships. There's something so special about it.
There really is, and I think if you look at this MLS title, where MLS is now, I got to tell a quick story. My son's a big sports fan, and when he saw Jordan Morris was on the Sounders, he had just played at Stanford, won a championship last year. He said to me, but I thought MLS is where all the old guys come to play. But that's not the case anymore. There's a lot of younger players. Players are staying home in America to play. There's players coming from other countries. Ladero came from Boca Juniors, which is a terrific club in Argentina, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you have some premier players coming. So I guess the deal is, in your opinion, Diego, is the MLS Cup bigger to win now or 2008, 2007?
No, it's bigger now. That's a fact. And you could see, like you said, Lodeiro, he's at his prime right now. He's 26 years old. He's not 30 or 31 when he's about to retire. So you could see all these quality players coming to play to the MLS. You have Kaká from Brazil, Thierry Henry that played here for New York Red Bulls. Clint Dempsey, that he decided to stay here. He played in England, but he decided to stay with Seattle. So there's a big change. And actually today, the MLS expansion draft is going on. So we're going to have 2 new teams next year. So
and we're going to lose some players
as
a result of that, aren't we?
Yes, we're losing players, especially experienced players. We're losing Hercules Gomez, Nelson Edo Valdez, the forward. There's a bunch of players that their contracts didn't get renewed, but we're going to have room for new players coming and younger players to support the base.
Mike, you mentioned Jordan Morris, such an incredible story. Here's a kid growing up on Mercer Island, playing soccer, went to Stanford, won a championship there. He wrote an article for the Players Tribune, an online website, and he said the most amazing thing. He went to that inaugural game in 2009 with his dad, and he said when Freddie Montero scored the very first goal in franchise history, he said, right then I decided I was going to play for the Sounders one day. What an incredible story that is. This is a local kid. Now he's
Wow.
the Rookie of the Year,
Right.
and he's a champion as well.
And he's a homegrown player. I mean, I don't know if a lot of people know about the Sounders Academy. They enlist the local kids. Jordan Morris came up through the Sounders system, and he's one of their own. And that's something that they do really well here, all the way down to 13U, 14U kids. There's some terrific players in the area that are kind of operating underneath that Sounders cloud, if you want to say that, because they learned the Sounders way. And what an investment in soccer and in the future, whether these guys end up here in MLS or not. It's a terrific way for these guys to really understand the game, and especially the way the Sounders want them to play.
All right, if you guys are just tuning in, this is a special edition of Como News at 11 o'clock. And, of course, we are celebrating the Sounders MLS Cup victory and the Victory March and Rally happening live. This is a live look from Air 4 flying over downtown, a slow march of thousands of fans and supporters making their way past the Cinerama on 4th Avenue. The trolleys carrying the team moving very slowly. You can see fans going right up to the trolley trying to get autographs, trying to shake hands with the players. They are headed to where we are at Seattle Center, and that's where the rally is going to be held.
We're going to go back down to Kelly Koopmans now, who is slowly making her way along with this mosh pit. Kelly, what's going on?
We're working our way. We have Mayor Ed Murray right here. Mayor Murray, how exciting is this for the city of Seattle? Another championship.
It's an exciting day for Seattle. We have the greatest soccer team in the world. And the mayor of Toronto has to send me his bet. He lost.
And what will he be sending you?
He's sending beer and coffee.
What were you watching that game on Saturday, and what were you thinking as it came down to PKs?
Well, it was sort of like, here we go again. It's, first the Super Bowl and now this.
Always down to the wire. All right, well, thanks so much for joining us.
Be careful. Thank you. Go Sounders!
There you have Mayor Murray, and we are very steadily walking backwards in a slow crowd of thousands of people. So it doesn't get much better than this, guys. Back to you.
She's walking backwards.
she cut in front of a police officer to get the interview with the mayor. Really fantastic. Let's get down back to Steve McCarron, who is also down there amongst the trolleys and the players. Steve?
Eric, I'm trying not to trip here as we're walking backwards, kind of in this the middle of this mob as it's working its way down 4th Avenue. Since I'm standing next to you, what are you feeling right now?
This is awesome. It's really crowded, but it's really fun.
And I'm assuming you watched the match on Saturday.
Of course.
Right? Okay.
We're season ticket holders.
Tell me what it's been like the last 2 days, just sort of seeing them win and being welcomed home and now being in the middle of all this.
It's been really fun, and I've explained soccer to a lot of people over the last few days.
What do you hope this does for Seattle?
We're already on the map, but I think it officially cements us as an awesome soccer city, and I hope it helps us get another stadium, and that just everybody loves the Sounders.
How early did you get here today?
We came down at 9-ish.
9-ish.
Yeah.
And obviously have a prime spot at the moment.
Well, yeah. We worked hard for it. We ran for it.
What about you? What are you feeling as you sort of walk with this mob here?
It's just awesome. Been watching Sounders for a long time, and champions. Go Sounders!
Woo!
Wait, tell me about the history. I mean, since you've watched the team for such a long time, seeing the ups and downs and just taking this all in.
Yeah, it's kind of surreal. Got a lot of little guys at home that are in school right now, and show them all these highlights. It's just awesome to be here and witness all of it.
Yeah. So from your vantage point up there, guys, tell me about this as you're sort of making your way through.
It's amazing, I don't know. I'm the last person to ask. That's this guy.
What are you feeling?
Excited. We're champions.
What's it like to sort of see everything from your vantage point and seeing all these fans out here?
It's as exciting from the inside out as it is from the outside in.
What do you want to tell Seattle?
Thanks for the support.
Thank you guys very much. Yeah, just the mob is sort of making its way up 4th Avenue here, and literally if you look off in the distance there, everybody has their camera phones up, taking video, taking photos, wearing their blue and rave green as this makes its way closer down to you guys there at Fisher Pavilion. Just an incredible atmosphere.
I'm kind of getting worried. That crowd is headed to us.
I think it is going to be a wild circus scene here at Seattle Center once that entire crowd shuffles its way in. And really what we're seeing is this moving exhibit in which the fans who feel so close to this team actually get to reach out and touch their heroes and touch the champions, or the champions, and touch that trophy. And it's so cool. You see the trophy right there. Fans are reaching out and touching it as it goes by. It really is a beautiful scene.
I wonder if the players are going to get the same treatment as NHL players do when they win the Stanley Cup. They all get the cup for a day.
That's right.
I mean, they only have about 6 weeks before they start training again, so it's not exactly a huge window, but maybe each guy gets a cup for a day.
Some of the things I've heard happening to that cup while it was with those players, maybe it's a better idea that they not go
That's true.
in that direction. So fun to see this championship march as it slowly makes its way through downtown Seattle, heading to Seattle Center. Of course, when they get here, there will be quite a scene. It should be a lot of fun. You guys, I want to talk a little bit about Brian Schmetzer and the job he's done. And I started to say earlier before they had the live interview with him that he's not a rah-rah kind of guy. He's not a guy that you would imagine making impassioned speeches. But there are two turning points in this season in which he got his players' attention. One was when he first took over. He said to them, look, what do we have to lose now? We're dead last. Nobody thinks we can do anything. They think we're dead, that nothing is going to happen here. So why not show them what we can do? We have nothing to lose at this point. And then early on in his tenure as head coach and manager, they were down to Portland 4-0 at halftime. And I'll bet you, Diego, you remember that match. They're down 4-0. They looked dead. They looked slow. And at halftime, he said to the team, if anyone quits, you're done. You're off the field. You're not going to play for this club if you quit in the second half. They didn't win the game, but they did come back and score 2 goals, and it changed the tenor of that team. It changed the way those players looked at him and looked at the future of this team.
Yeah, so, that's a turning point, actually. So that game, they lost 4-2. In the second half, Brian Schmetzer said we won 2-0, right? 2-0. Because after that talk, the players were motivated. And I remember after that game, I talked to Roman Torres, the guy who scored the last PK, the Panamanian defender, and he said that speech changed the team.
Wow.
And changed the mindset. And they said that now every game is a final. And that's how they played until Toronto.
All right, let's check in with Kelly Koopmans, who's down at the ground level where all the excitement is. Kelly, you guys are getting closer and closer to Seattle Center.
We're slowly getting closer. We have some players a little bit, a little bit. We're trying to talk to some players here.
There's a ton of people there already.
Would I tell you, what is this like right now, seeing all this crowd?
Let me get you a player. I'm the PR guy.
We'd love to be able to speak.
Here.
Okay, we're having some struggles, reaching the guys. Could you talk to me a little bit about the excitement of seeing the crowds here and seeing these thousands of people packed down Fourth for you?
I mean, it's an incredible feeling. We had no idea how many people were going to come out, but their expectations, like they've done all year, and their support for us, and it's just an incredible experience to be a part of.
Thank you so much. We have Jordan Morris up here as well, of course, our local guy, Mercer Island. We'd love to be able to speak with him if possible. So we have some people here who are going to try and hook us up and make sure we can try and get to Jordan Morris here. I want to talk to him.
About the save.
Jordan, hi. You're guy to be able to play for the Sounders and bring home the first national championship. How is that?
It's amazing. It's something I've dreamed of as a kid, growing up watching this team. To be a part of it, I mean, we did it because of this guy, but no, it's a team effort. It's amazing.
Appreciate it. Enjoy the day.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay. We did it. Enjoy it, everyone. It's great talking to a couple of people here. This is so much fun. And really, you heard it from Jordan right there, a local guy. and my face is probably really big right now, but a local guy, Mercer Ryan, this is a dream of his, and really, I think a lot of people here second that sentiment. It's just fantastic and a great vibe. It's exhilarating, and I know you guys feel it too all the way down 4th.
Kelly Koopmans, a salmon headed upstream against the water, against this wave of Sounders fans. How about that? And Jordan Morris, he also wrote in that article I was telling you about that growing up on Mercer Island, when he was playing basketball, he would pretend he was Sean Kemp, and when he was playing baseball, he would pretend that he was Ken Griffey Jr. He said, but we didn't have a soccer hero.
Yeah.
We didn't have that guy, that soccer player. And guess what? Now he is one of them, right?
Yeah.
He is that guy.
It's pretty awesome. I want to go back to what you talked about in Portland, though. And isn't it ironic that the turning point for this franchise came in Portland, who won the MLS Cup last year against their Cascadia Cup rival of all places?
Yeah, and also I think it was motivation for them because last year Portland won the MLS Cup.
Yeah.
And they're the big rivals, and the Sounders, the players, and also I talked to the fans, and they were saying, well, we need that cup. Portland has one now, and we're a bigger team. We have a better fan base. We need the MLS Cup. So I think that also motivated the team.
Well, get tired of seeing those people with their chainsaws.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it is such a fantastic rivalry. It was a fantastic rivalry before either city had an MLS team.
Right.
This has been soccer country for so many years, and now to see that rivalry continue at this higher level, at the MLS level, is very cool. And you know that when the Timbers won the MLS Cup last year, it just rankled Sounders. It chapped
Big
their
time.
hide to know that those guys with their goofy chainsaw and all that stuff had won the thing.
You know, one of the young ladies that Steve was interviewing earlier talked about getting this team respect maybe on the national level. I think they had that. But one thing that's definitely going to happen is ESPN, emailing me yesterday. They want the video. They're going to get it today. Everybody's going to see this party.
All right, we're getting word that Kelly is talking to Stephen Fry. Kelly, are you there?
We're getting closer. We're slowly working our way down here. Stefan is right after Jordan, so we're going to slow our roll just a little bit here. And Stefan, Jordan, MVP, how you doing?
Can't complain. It's not doing too bad, yeah.
Have you guys come up with a name for that save yet? The save that caught everybody's attention and likely helped you win the championship.
Just doing my job. That's what I'm here to do. I'm a goalkeeper, so has to try to keep the ball in the back of the net. I tried, and I'm really, really happy I was able to.
Where's this ranking in moments of your life?
It's definitely up there. It's up there. I mean, with my wedding, I would say, and that's probably the only one that is up there with this one. Yeah.
Can we get a look at the medal around your neck right now?
Of course. I've been wearing it all this whole time, so it's amazing.
We're hearing a couple people swoon over here. That is indeed Stefan Fry.
Gotta move back.
Are you excited?
Oh, yeah.
How is this? You just met him.
Amazing. I met, I used Brad's note to get out of work and gave it
All right, guys, we're going to send it back to you. But we've got doctor's notes
I think
and we've got calls into work. So people,
they're women.
People can come here.
They're women throwing themselves.
It's like he's in Chippendale guy or something.
Get out of the way, Kelly.
I want to talk a little bit about that save. We had the Richard Sherman tip with the Seahawks. If they built a statue outside the stadium, that's what you would want it to be. You had Edgar Martinez's double down the line in 95. That's their shining moment. If they built a statue for the Sounders, it would have to be Stefan Fry, arched back, leaping through the air, as if time had slowed down, and that left hand reaching up and making that save. That was the defining moment, wouldn't you say, of this franchise?
Oh, hands down. And if he doesn't make that save, we're not sitting here right now.
Right.
That was a trip to the MLS Finals, and oh boy, Toronto won 1-0. That's not the case, thanks to Stefan Fry.
It really
All right,
was something.
you guys, I'm hearing Steve McCarron has now made his way to the front of this huge procession. How's it looking, Steve?
Oh my gosh, it's so hard trying to make your way in front of this thing. But yeah, we're just crossing by 4th and Vine. Can see the front of the Seattle City supporters as they're making their way closer to Seattle Center at this point. We are coming for you guys just a couple blocks away now. And all the folks are essentially gathered around those trolleys. I know Kelly's kind of in the mix of that whole thing over there. And I'm seeing somebody that we chatted with yesterday that I'm hoping maybe I can go talk with her really quick. She was trying to figure out what she was going to wear for today. Sarah, how are you feeling? Oh, they're pushing me over this way. That's not going to work. Trying to make their way down 4th Avenue. Essentially in the middle of a mob right there, just crossing over 4th and Vine.
All right.
I'll tell you what, if our reporters survive this day, we will be lucky. They are down there doing really difficult work, walking backwards, surrounded by fans who are trying to get at the players. A crazy scene down there.
I don't know Police Chief O'Toole, but I can guarantee you this is your favorite march ever.
No problem with these people, right?
Not at all. This is a celebration.
All right, well, you can hear the singing, the chanting, the drum beats. I was at the Seahawks parade a couple of years ago. Numbers-wise, there are more fans that day. But energy-wise, there's something different about Sounders fans. They're a lot more interactive. They bring their banners. They yell for 2 hours straight, and they're not afraid to get cold, to lose their voice, and to follow the team every step of the way. And that's so unique.
Let me ask you this. I believe, and tell me what you guys think, Mike and Diego, I think that this team tapped into a whole different group of fans. I think there was a group of people who felt left out by the big three, football, baseball, and basketball. And I think this sport came along, and this whole group that had been on the outside looking in decided to wrap their arms around this team and this sport. It was different sport. It was European flavored, a different lingo, a different feel to the game. And I think that group is what we're looking at today. Those are the ones who wrapped their arm around this team and became Sounders fanatics.
And yeah, they've been fans since the beginning. And one of the things that I wanted to highlight is that the way the team works, and with the media too, you get more accessibility compared to the NFL or to the Seahawks, to the Mariners. So I think that's one of the big differences, that the supporters can approach the players. There's always players tying off the jerseys and every week in their training. So I think that's one of the different flavors that this team has, and that's why they feel like they're part of the team too.
I find it interesting in the grand scheme of sports. We talk a lot about youth sports. For a lot of people, they play soccer as kids. And as you grow up, you go do different things. A lot of people can relate to soccer. And so while you have people that have played football and baseball and basketball who really clutch onto that, it seems like we all played soccer at some point when we were growing up. You know, this is everybody's sport to a degree.
Well, and the lasting impact of this will be, and we saw it after the 95 Mariners. We've seen it with the Seahawks. Now there's a whole group of fans growing up who will remember this and will be lifelong fans.
All right, Erin Mayofsky, she was in Toronto for the MLS Cup, saw it in person, and now she's live at the march. Hi, Erin.
Hi guys, it's getting loud as the ECS leaves this trolley right around the corner. They're making their way to Tilcomb Place, and this is going to be a special spot on the stop here for the ESC and the Sounders FC, because Onzi Alonso is going to get out at Tilcomb Place and honor Chief Seattle here, the statue that is right on the corner of 5th and Denny. And as they come around, it will be a special ceremony honoring this and making this kind of the central point as they make their way towards Como Plaza. And as we look at this, you can see it's getting so loud. I've just got a couple of texts from sporting director Chris Henderson, said he's on his way. He's going to jump out and talk to us. Of course, we'll try and get Coach Brian Smetzer and the family of Mr. Sounder, Zach Scott. They are going to be coming around, and they are going to be coming back around and talk to us and let us know how it was. We saw Zach's wife and his 3 kids there. Just a great guy all around who's grown up with soccer all of his life, and he is a major part of this organization for the NASL NASL days and the USL days and to the MLS. He and Brian Smetzer have been through thick and thin, so it'll be interesting to hear what they have to say. Fans now are allowed to start coming in here, and you can see it's like a flash mob moving in. It's exciting. It's going to get loud. A lot of people don't know what exactly is going on here and why they're kind of filtering in here, but as the trolley makes its way and as it gets out, we're going to be keeping an eye on that. We'll try to grab Ozzie Alonso, but he'll be making his way up to the statue that's right to the right of us as fans fill in just at Tilcomb Place here. And I want to give you a little bit more about this statue. The statue, Chief Self and Chief Seattle later, born in 1786 on Lake Island and later re-erected here in 1912. It's a copper statue that weighs 400 pounds. And the right hand, as they put the right hand up there, it means greetings and the significance of this. So also, we do want to let you know that a major quote, one of the first things he said, is take nothing but memories, Chief Seattle said, leaving nothing but footprints behind. And I definitely think this is a spot for the footprints to be left, and you can see the crowd moving in here and just packing the place. The trolley is getting closer, and I'm going to inch my way over towards there and try and grab off as many Sounder guys as I can. I can see Clint Dempsey leaning out the window right now and waving at Sounders fans and saying hi to them. All been so generous to talk to us, and I know Kelly Koopman talked to Stephen Fry earlier, and that amazing save that he said, a lot of people are calling it Spider-Man and Superman, as the ball looked like it was almost across the line, and he brought it back out by his fingertips. So one of the things I did want to let you know is Coach Brian Smetzer told me that this is a dream come true, of course, and that he cannot believe that he is leading this MLS squad and how far they came from being so far behind back in July. I think everybody scratched it off their calendars and said, hey, we'll take a vacation because it's cold in Seattle this time, but folks were able to make the trip. I tell you guys, about 1,500 fans were there, and this feels more amazing, even though the game's over and it happened on Saturday. We're here now, and we're going to try and grab Zach Scott real quick. Zach! How do you feel?
Unbelievable.
What does it mean to have your family here, too? They're behind the trolley.
They're having the best day ever, we'll put it that way.
Is this the way to go out?
Absolutely. Couldn't have written a better script. This is just amazing.
Cool. Thanks, Zach. All right, we're going to keep pulling off folks here as this trolley starts to get out. Ozzie Alonso is making his way, and we're right here with him as we move through. Ozzie, how excited is it?
I'm very happy.
Okay.
Sorry, I'll give it to you after.
All right, guys, they're kind of shooting me off Ozzie Alonso, but we're going to head in here and watch the ceremony as it moves back through. He's making his way up, and he is going to put that scarf on Chief Seattle to signify the footprints here of the MLS and the championship that they stole in Toronto. Guys?
All right, Aaron, thank you very much. And here they come, some of them on foot now. And you guys, we were talking about Zach Scott. I mean, this guy, 15 years, he leaves as a champion. What an incredible thing.
Yeah, and the salary structure of MLS is a little quirky. You have a few guys that make a lot of money, and then as you go down the roster, guys that make a living. Zach Scott made a living playing soccer, and he lives in West Seattle. He's got 3 kids. One of his daughter actually was one of the Little Leaguers on the All-Girls Little League team we profiled last year. So the athletic genes run in the family. But to end your career as a champion, I mean, the only guy you think of right now, Michael Robinson. He retired with the Seahawks after Super Bowl 48. How rare is that you can actually end on such a positive championship note? It's a good, deserving deal for a pretty good guy.
Pretty amazing. Let's get back down to Aaron. All right, she's at the statue again, Aaron.
All right, here's Ozzie. He's lifting the 2016 MLS Championship flag, signifying this amazing moment here just on the corner of Denny and 5th, just outside Como Plaza, and the excitement is undescribable. Everybody has their cell phones up, and Ozzie, the guy who's been the center, the person on this team who has kind of culminated this whole MLS Cup victory. He's been through a couple of coaches, and he's so excited to be up there, not even speaking, guys, because he knows how important it was. And I did want to mention that Ozzie's family was in Toronto, his dad and mom, and I can't tell you how proud they were of Ozzie as he had this huge moment. He has just been such a staple in that center mid, fighting through injuries and making his way back to the starting lineup. And you guys, you gotta give this team so much credit because they have been through so much. And as they turned the corner and Coach Brian Smetzer took over this team, so many factors play into this. So many local guys on this team, on the coaching staff. We have sporting director Chris Henderson. We're gonna look for him. He's gonna make his way towards me and talk to us about what it means to get all these local guys, the local programs around here, the Seattle Sounders with the Seattle United Academies, keeping these guys like Jordan Morris and others in on this local homegrown run. And now the Trolleys are kind of stuck. They're back to back and they're moving through. How amazing is this? Describe the feeling.
All
we
right,
talked in Toronto.
All right, we're losing Aaron there in the mosh pit of love that is this march and parade through the streets of Seattle. They're getting close now, you guys. And when they get here to Seattle Center, they're stopped right now, but I would guess they're 5 minutes away. There's going to be a series of speeches. The play-by-play announcer, Matt Johnson, will talk as the MC. Then Mayor Ed Murray, King County Executive Dow Constantine, Congressman Jim McDermott. And then when all the politicians are done, then what we're really looking for, I'm assuming we're going to hear from ownership. I'm assuming we're going to hear from players. I'm assuming we're going to hear from Brian Schmetzer, too. But I was struck as Ozzie Alonso was holding up that scarf wordlessly, just holding it up. It reminded me at the end of Dances with Wolves when the Native American was on the mountain and he held up his gun or spear or whatever it was and says, "Don't you know I will always be your friend?" It was one of those iconic moments, wasn't it?
Dances with Wolves?
Oh, yeah. How's that for a reference?
But that's Ozzie, he's really serious. He's a great guy. He has a lot of sense of humor, but when he's focused on the game, he's super serious, and he's a leader, and he was also, I think, one of the key players to win this MLS Cup. He's been in the team for many years. He's like Mr. Sounder, like Zach Scott. They know all the youngsters and knows all the organization. So Ozzie Alonso also.
He's such a spark plug. A lot of people don't realize he defected to the United States when the Cuban national team was in Houston.
Yeah.
And that's how, it's not been easy for him to start, but he found a home here in Seattle, and he means so much to his team, and there were times where he's been injured or if he had been given yellow cards where you could tell he was not part of that lineup.
Yeah, and his team players, they say that he's the soulmate of the team. When he's not on the field, the team is different.
Wow.
There's no leadership like Ozzie Alonso does, so...
Oh, the champagne. The champagne is on the course. All right, I'm hearing we've got the audio back with Aaron Mayovsky.
That's from my Torres, yeah.
Aaron, are you there?
Hey, we are here, guys. If you're talking to us, it's a little hard to hear. You can see everybody moving around, the trolleys coming around and making their way towards Como Plaza. We were trying to grab guys, but they're stuck on the trolley right now. We're going to jump off on the corner just as soon as they pass the statue. But guys are signing. You can see hats, scarves, anything they can get their hands on as the trolley moves by. They'll continue to wave, and they're dropping off posters and anything that they can. It's so exciting down here, guys, right now. Everyone moving through. And, this isn't even that cold out here compared to the weather, what it was like in Toronto. It is a nice day to have this celebration with thousands of people moving through as they make their way towards the lawn on Fisher. Lawn over there. Here we go. We're going to head out in the middle. All right. Here's Jordan Morris. Hold on one sec. Jordan, how you feeling?
Sorry, just a sec. I feel great. Great. This is awesome. To share this with our fans, it's
Thank you, Jordan.
How does it feel to be such a local kid sharing this experience?
Yeah, it's amazing. Growing up around here, it's been awesome following the team, so it's exciting now to be a part of it.
Hey, thanks for hanging with us. Guys, we're in the middle of the fans here, and we were practically getting trampled, so we're going to step out aside here. It's pretty much a flash mob moving through. Folks are pushing to get right through the trolley, so people need to be a little bit careful out here. But as it makes its way, it's just passing close to the monorail. and it will come start to head your way.
Point out, it looks like there are two kinds of players, you guys. There's the guy spraying the champagne, and then there's the guy who celebrates holding a hot cup of coffee.
Well, aren't you struck by just the sheer happiness of this scene? You know, Diego, you talked about the accessibility of these players. Look at them. They're not hiding from these people.
Nope.
They're not standoffish. They are a part of this. They are embracing this celebration. Some of them on the ground walking, some of them on those trolleys. There's people throwing their scarves at them to sign, and then hoping that somehow after they sign it, they can throw it back out there behind them as the trolley's moving and get it into the right hands. It really is quite a scene, and I, again, am just struck by the sheer joy of it all.
How do you sign a scarf?
I don't know.
Can you try writing on that?
No,
Try
yeah,
that. Is that
gonna
impossible?
work.
How do you do that?
Work. Oh, look at that.
A lot of fun. You know, one thing that's pretty cool about Jordan Morris, just kind of the parallels of his college career. Stanford won a national title last year. He was with that team. He comes up here the same weekend that Stanford is playing for the national championship against Wake Forest. How does Stanford win? They go to penalty kicks, just like the Sounders won. Kind of wild.
Well, talking about Morris, he was before he got signed by the Seattle Sounders. He was gonna go to Germany. Actually, he was training in Germany last year with the Wolves.
Oh, how about that?
And they were saying, well, most of the fans were saying, well, he needs to stay in Germany. It's a better league.
Right.
But Jordan Morris decided to come back and actually play for his home team.
Well, you guys, in this strange, bizarre, up and down roller coaster season, could it be more fitting that they would win a game for the MLS Cup in which they had no shots on goal? Not a single shot on goal. They win with, you know, the penalty kicks, of course, but then, of course, with the diving save by Stephen Fry. But imagine that, winning the championship with not a single shot on goal, fitting after such a strange season.
It is, and to add to the strangeness, you don't have Clint Dempsey. DeAndre Yedlin left. Obafemi Martins was gone at the beginning of the season. There's all that star power for offense. There was all your goals that maybe would have helped in a game like that. But I can't believe that they pulled it off without that shot on goal. That's unbelievable.
Can I just point out something about the celebration, you guys? This might be the mom in me. It might be a little corny, but you guys at home will see this in a few minutes. I look behind us here where we are on the lawn, and I see so many kids. There's so many children, running around, kicking soccer balls, waiting for the team to get here, rolling around on the grass, grass-stained knees, having such a good time. And it's so nice to see that the kids are such a big part of this sports day,
Well, and that's a building block of the way fandom happens, right? It becomes generational at its best. If you go to some of those traditions, the New York Yankees, the Boston Red Sox, the St. Louis Cardinals, the Green Bay Packers, it happens generationally. And fathers take their sons and daughters and mothers, and then those kids do the same thing for their own, and then so this is really the beginning. This team has only been in existence for 8 years, but this is the beginning of something that will be passed down for generations.
And let's be honest, there's a lot of things to do in Seattle. This town loves winners, right? I remember when the Seahawks weren't that great playing at UW. That place wasn't full. Remember 116 wins for the Mariners? Every night we were down there doing live shots. That place was packed. These are champions. Let's go see the champs. This place it's a franchise-changing moment for a team that already had incredible support.
There you see them right next to the McDonald's, right across the street from Como Plaza, slowly making their way to Seattle Center. That's where we are right now. That's also where there were a couple 3,000 or so fans waiting for them. These are the people who decided, I'm not going to walk along for a couple of miles with a trolley. I'm going to get a good seat so that when they get here, I'm up front. So those fans have been parked here really since we got here a couple of hours ago. So they're waiting, but it might take a while. As it gets closer, the mosh pit looks like it's getting more and more concentrated, and they're taking a longer time signing autographs to move that thing along.
Well, the city estimated yesterday, they said anywhere from 3,000 5,000 to 10,000 might show up. And now that I'm looking at the lawn, you guys, I don't think there's enough room here for all the fans that we're seeing
for all those people,
marching down
No,
4th Avenue. So I don't know where everyone's going to go.
This could be bedlam in here. I mean, we might have to run for our lives. Our setup is great. We're right here in the middle of things. They'll be speaking right behind us. But you're right. There's not going to be enough room here for all of those people.
And we can blame Brad Evans for this because I don't know if you saw his tweet last night.
What did he say?
He sent a tweet. He wrote a letter for all the bosses and, for kids. So if they want to come to the parade, he signed like a
permission slip?
Permission slip. So
let the
that's
kids
why we see a lot
school,
of kids
right?
and families,
It's a moment. It's a moment. You don't know if this is ever going to happen again on any level for a championship for Seattle. So you got to come and enjoy it and share it with friends and family and with the team. And like you say, you get to be close to the team and share this day because championships, as Eric said in the beginning, they just don't happen.
Hey, listen,
very
man,
often.
I'm a Mariner fan. I mean, a Mariner fan and a Cougar fan.
Right.
And, I remember when the Cougs went to 2 Rose Bowls in 3 or 4 years. I thought that's just the way it is. That's the way it's going to be forever. Hasn't happened since.
Take them back to Pasadena.
You're right. You're right. So you got to grab onto it when it happens. But I do think I would say this. And look at that scene there, the monorail going by. That is a quintessential Seattle scene right there. I will say this, that as this team progresses forward, organizationally, ownership-wise, fan base-wise, they are in a good position to have a nice run of success in addition to this one championship because they're one of those franchises that's built to last.
They are, and I think the guy that has kind of flown under the radar, so to speak, as far as organizationally is Adrian Hanauer. He's a quiet, very unassuming guy, but he's got a great soccer mind, a great business mind. I think he knows exactly what it takes. He's been instrumental in this process from the very beginning, and he deserves a lot of the credit for how this club is done.
Yeah, totally. And this is a great organization. Before the MLS Cup, if you say which are the top 5 teams in MLS overall, Sounders would be in the top 3 at least. Of top 5, even without the MLS Cup, because the MLS Cup, it's a big franchise, and not only in the U.S., worldwide. Now playing the CONCACAF champions with Mexican teams and Central American teams, it's becoming a brand that it's recognized outside of the U.S.
I mean, again, let's go back to this. They were 6-12-2 in July. They were dead in the water. They weren't going anywhere. There was no spark. Even the fans were starting to roll their eyes a little bit, right? This was a team that was going nowhere. Playoffs, this is one of those playoffs. We're not talking about playoffs.
Right.
And now look at this. There is a championship parade. But look at the screen right there.
They're trying to make room for the trolley
I think the trolleys are stuck.
People keep throwing scarves.
It's a Sounders jam.
Yeah, that looks like it might be a while before they get that trolley moving again. The players might have to get off of those things and make a run for the stage.
Talking about this team, though, and how they played, when they started that role after that Portland game, Dallas was such a mighty team in the West. And when they took those guys down, and we talk about a lot on the set, we always are confused or amazed by how other sports stay within season. But within soccer, there's so many other tournaments. You have CONCACAF, you have the Open Cup, everything else. Well, the blessing in the other tournaments is that Tim Howard got hurt with the U.S. national team. He's not Colorado's goalie. They get into that round against Colorado, and they knew. All right, we knocked down Dallas. Why would Colorado stand in our way? And then there they go.
Yeah, that's a great point. After FC Dallas, for me, was probably the best team in the league before they got eliminated by the Sounders. When they play against Colorado, Sounders was a better team, and they knew how to play it. And then this last game against Toronto, we already said that they never got a shot on goal, but they were really organized in the back, and they were defending, and they were, playing their game. At the end of the day, they knew, and I think Brian Schmetzer knew that Toronto was going to go and attack. It was a better team offensive-wise, but the Sounders, they were organized, and they had a good defense to hold them back.
All right, I'm hearing that Steve McCarron is close to where we are, near Seattle Center, talking to fans. Hey, let's check in with you, Steve, while we wait for the trolleys to move closer.
Here they come, guys. Oh, my gosh.
Hello, it is getting closer and closer. I can kind of see the vantage point where you guys are at, Key Arena off in the distance here. So we're on the north end of the Armory, kind of in between the Armory and the Children's Playground here on the Seattle Center grounds. It looks like the Emerald City supporters have stopped for a brief moment, but essentially will be making their way down this path to where you guys are on Fisher Lawn. I want to talk with a woman who's next to me here who has a very kind of close connection, we could say. Is that kind of safe to say?
Yeah, I can say that. But today, in my capacity, I'm here as a volunteer through Seafair, and I am a supporter, but I also support the fans in a special, unique way that I can't
real
say.
Exactly, but
but
support the fans.
Those that know me know that what I do. So, and this is really exciting for me. It's kind of a full circle thing to be here with all the Seattle Sounder fans. Supporting them today as a volunteer, directing them in, although I don't think they need any.
And you're also Facebook Living. You're kind of pulling double duty here, directing traffic and also Facebook Living at this moment. So as somebody who has watched this team and seen it evolve, what are you thinking as you sort of see all these fans pass by and just the excitement of the day?
I think this is pretty exciting, and I'm so excited for the fans because honestly, I'm more of a Seahawk fan than a Sounder fan, but I love the Sounder fans and their spirit, and I know that soccer started before Seahawks did, and so for me, this is really cool. It's really full circle for me, actually, to see this all come together. Listen how loud I gotta do a chat.
Just an incredible atmosphere. So those Emerald City supporters are now making their way down this path. Probably within the next minute or so, they'll be passing by the north end of the Armory and then obviously wrapping around to where the Fisher Lawn is, where you guys are set up. So you guys will be seeing them momentarily, getting closer and getting closer by the minute.
I feel like I can hear the rumbling of their footsteps as they march closer and closer to us. All right, thank you very much, Steve.
All right, we're going to go right now, a quick chat with Cale Thompson, who's at the live desk at Como Plaza there. I know, Cale, you've been following some of the social media. What's going on?
Yeah, I would like to say almost as exciting in here as it is out there. Almost not really. You guys are having a blast. This thing is huge on social media right now. Just got some statistics in this morning. 6.8 million people have seen the hashtag Sounders March since it actually started trending this morning. Really incredible. City emergency ops are also open. Not a surprise. Protocol for big events like this. And SPD has just tweeted, don't board the trolleys. They've actually arrested 2 people as a result because of it. We wanted to show you some of the social media as well coming in this morning, and I think we have some tweets, Facebook pictures, and other things that we're able to show you here. If not, don't worry about it. I can just tell you that it's been absolutely huge. People at work reporting they can hear this parade from 4 blocks away. That is how loud this is. And these are people high up in the high-rises downtown, some of them in centralized locations. Here are some of the photos that are circulating here with the hashtag MLS Champs this morning. And there's one of those tweets that I mentioned. I work 4 blocks away from Westlake Park in an office with very thick, soundproof windows, and the chants from the Sounders March are loud. You heard it here. You know you've also made it big here when Cupcake Royale has a special cupcake just for the Sounders Championship. That is out there as well. A number of schools celebrating. Those who can't be at the parade today, taking time to pause and share some of their pictures on Facebook. This is infectious, guys. And I can say that because I've actually gotten a couple of texts and tweets this morning from people who I know are not necessarily Sounders fans, in that they don't necessarily follow the team as closely as some of the others do. But they are at the parade today. They work downtown. They've taken their lunch break to go to the parade today. That is how infectious this is and just how much fun people are having out there.
All right, thank you very much.
As we take a look from Air 4 live pictures of where this whole thing is heading. Can we see us in the picture? We're in there somewhere. There,
right
to the
there,
left of your
left.
screen, you see some scaffolding. Let's
waving.
wave to Air 4. So that's us. That's where we are situated. To our backs, you can see that large group of people, and that's where the stage is. And as soon as the team gets here, and I really think it's going to take some doing to get that team here, but there is going to be some speeches, probably brief speeches by our Mayor Ed Murray, and then King County Executive Dow Constantine, Congressman Jim McDermott. and that's when I think they're going to bring out, the trophy and the players.
See what I mean by there's no room, you guys?
Yes, I see it.
Did you see the throngs of people on 4th Avenue? How are they all going to squeeze onto this little lawn? I don't know.
It is going to be fascinating to see what transpires here in the next hour and a half or so. Right now, I'm worried about the damn trolleys. I'm not sure they're going to get to us.
Right.
I think the players might have to get out and make a run for it, and that could get really interesting.
You know, I got to tell everybody, the Sounders are going to have a logo change.
Uh-oh.
So you need to go out and buy all new Sounders stuff. What? Well, as you see it behind us, you see the Sounders logo. There's a star on top of the logo. You see it?
Oh my God. Oh,
this is the old logo.
Mike, you're
That's
right.
what happens when you win a championship.
So the star represents the championship.
The championship.
And now everyone that has a scarf or a jacket or a hat or something
need stars.
that doesn't have the star is going to feel like they're a little late to the party.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like an iPhone upgrade.
Exactly.
The upgrade, yeah.
So they got the star on top, and it's well-deserved, that's for sure.
I'll tell you, it is so fun to see this city, this wonderful city, come together like this, and to see so many people excited, rallying around a single cause. It really is heartwarming. Look, I'm not the biggest soccer fan in the world. I'm not going to pretend that I'm an expert on this game, but I do love this city, and I love the way this city is wrapping its arms around this team and this event and this MLS Cup championship.
I went back last night. I know we were joking about these guys starting
Here they come, you guys.
mid-January. And they've been playing soccer a long time. You know, they played a preseason exhibition game, if you want to call it that, on February 3rd in Arizona.
The season lasts forever.
These guys are athletes. It takes a long time.
And you know what? Really interesting thing is that the MLS season is different from the rest of the world, soccer-wise.
Right.
So the soccer calendar in Europe, in Mexico, in South America goes from August to July, and they always have a break in the summer. And the MLS starts in March and goes the ferry now and goes all the way to December.
It's a year-round affair.
And most of our sports are 3-4 month seasons, right? Maybe 4 or 5 months. And now this season is immense. Oh, here they come. They're parading in.
This is the lucky couple hundred who get to basically make up that mosh pit, Eric, that you've been talking about.
Right.
So they've got the banners, they've got the drums, the instruments.
It's like when we saw Springsteen in Portland. We got there early.
You're exactly right. That's exactly what they do for a Bruce Springsteen concert and some of the other big ones.
Yeah.
They've got that area in front for the people that waited the longest time.
You get the wristbands
Now,
and
these
everything.
people are not getting to pat Stephen Fry on the back or get, their hat autographed or whatever, but they are going to be at the front
The lucky
for
few.
these speeches.
All right, the lawn is filling in. We're seeing a lot more people strolling, but I think as far as the team is concerned, I think they're going to have to park the trolley. The guys are going to have to get off.
I think the trolley is parked.
And make a run for it to that stage, right?
Yeah, they'll need to walk. It's going to be impossible to pass it with all these people, but
And
it's
so
amazing
now
to
we're
see
starting to hear chants. We hear
all
the
the time.
drums.
Oh,
Here you
yeah.
go.
Oh,
There
here
we
we go.
It's like being at a game.
I hope the people listening at home can hear what we're hearing. Yeah, I'm being told that you can't hear it, but the chants are going, the callbacks, the yelling back and forth.
It's pretty magical.
yeah, and they're doing it like in the stadium. One side of the stadium will chant Seattle, and on the other side Sounders, right? So it's
They're going to have
pretty
to throw in
amazing.
the word champion.
They're going to have to work that in somewhere.
I think it's kind of modeled after the Great Taste, Less Filling. When they had that.
Now,
I like this one a lot better.
as references go, that is a great one. It's an old one,
Right.
but it's a great one. Great taste, less filling. Yes, the old light beer controversy, Mike. Well done.
So we've had the beer reference, and we've had Dances with Wolves.
Yes,
Right.
Yes.
I can't top that.
Now, do you see the guy with the megaphone up here? I don't know. You can see it on your screen. It's a guy with the megaphone climbing up.
I wonder if he does parkour.
I think he's calling out the chants.
He is
Yeah.
fired up.
He's
He
always
has
at
not
the
been
game,
called.
and he
Bring
has
up the crowd.
he's in front on a ladder usually at the games.
Oh, is it the same guy?
Same
Yeah, I
guy?
think so. He's got the megaphone.
Yeah, it's a great scene. It's a great scene. So what we're doing is here we're at Seattle Center. The speeches, the trophy, the excitement is still to come, but we're waiting right now for the players and for that cup and for the owners and for, the rest of the fans to file in here. And it is going to be quite a scene here as they continue to roll in.
Is Joe Roth here? Is Joe Roth here, the Hollywood producer that owns part of the team?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
Because we can make a movie reference with him.
I was
Armageddon.
He did Armageddon. He did Armageddon?
He did.
Well, let's hope that is not the reference of the day.
Yeah, hopefully not.
I was happy to see Clint Dempsey with the team today. And he's, again, we talk about the ups and downs of this season. Their marquee player in September out for the rest of the year because of that irregular heartbeats. What would have felt like another, nail in the coffin of this team, and it didn't work out that way.
No, and to lose a guy of that caliber and expect this team to do anything, because when we talked about the goal scoring that was lost, he was the main cog in the offensive machine. That's really when Jordan Morris took over. But I think the good news for Clint is that you hear that Bruce Arena is looking at him to be training hopefully sometime in January with the U.S. national team, which is a good indication of his health, we hope.
Diego, let me ask you a question. Can that have sort of a backwards effect on a team? You would think it would devastate a team, but can sometimes losing someone like Clint Dempsey actually bring the group even tighter together?
I think it can. Yeah, most of the times it wouldn't work. It would, the team will go down, but actually with Dempsey out, I think Jordan Morris, he played an important role as a player, as an offense scoring goals, because before Dempsey, he was the reference player, the franchise player that all the rest of the teammates were looking for him to make the difference. And when Clint Dempsey didn't show up, the team was gone. And I think after Dempsey's gone, the team got together and they played more as a team
I think we've seen that in basketball when there is a star player that everyone just assumes that guy will get the job done, and then when that player goes down, everyone else looks at themselves and says, maybe I need to make something happen.
Yeah, they can't sit around and watch the guy who's great. They need to be great. That's exactly what happened.
And by the way, I saw Clint Dempsey in the locker room after they won. He was celebrating with the rest of the teammates. He was there, yeah.
Good.
He was
I'm glad.
Incognito with a hat, but he was there
and speaking of which, Siggy Schmid was there as well, right?
Yeah.
And I want to say this. Yes, he lost his job midway through the season. Then the team turned it around and went all the way to the championship. But what a class act that man has been throughout this whole process.
Yeah, he's a class act, and we have to recognize that he's also part of this MLS Cup championship because he built the team and he was there. I was able to talk to him after they won, and he was really happy for the team. Like he said, well, I also feel this is part of me that we achieved something, even if I'm not the coach anymore. But I know all these players, and I'm so happy for them. So it's great that Siggy was there and acknowledging the MLS Cup championship.
And this team is dear to him. I remember the day he was hired as the first coach. He was very emotional because he got to live here by his brother, who lives out in Sammamish, for him is sort of homecoming. And so he kind of ingrained himself here in the community. And this isn't a guy that just left and went to his house in California. It obviously means a lot. And really classy move on his part to be there and to be a part of the whole, finish to the great season.
Well, the party is really just kicking in here, isn't it, Mary?
And it looks like they're talking to the coach right now.
Oh, here Brian Schmetzer's on the stage.
Free hugs for a limited time right there. They're lining up. No, that would not work. That would not work right there.
All right, I paused there for a minute. I didn't know if you guys at home can hear what they're saying on the stage, if our microphones are picking up any of that.
They were chanting Brian Schmetzer, Brian Schmetzer, and there he was hugging some people. So they must be really close to getting this thing kicked off. But you can see all these various bright-colored flags. So you have to know the situation. The guy on stage right now is killing time, as we are. As we are. And he just said, I just found out that the rest of the team is on its way. so we don't know what that means. I know they're basically less than a block away.
Right. Well, when I saw the coach up there, I thought they were all up there. But
yeah.
They may have
you
stopped
must
at
have
the
been on that
Starbucks
first
in
trolley.
Seattle Center.
Refuel a little bit, Mike.
All right. He says he's going to go check his hair and makeup, so he's definitely trying to kill time. But yeah, people are filing in.
Yeah, they really are. I would say there's probably 4,000 now, 4,000 people here surrounding us, and they keep filing in more and more and more. And really, if you look behind, there's a lot of people here right now, and they're coming in a steady stream.
All right. Isn't it a little bit eerily quiet right now? For as many people as there are?
I think everybody's really enjoying Rick Astley.
Yeah, they're waiting to...
Never going to give you up.
Oh, they are playing that, aren't they? The song that won't die.
Yes, I know, it won't. I think the amazing thing is, though, looking at this, I can't believe we're actually sitting here. I mean, we had buried this team in July. We were talking about so much on the air, what was going on, and the fact they pulled this off. And they even went to Toronto. I would have loved to have seen the MLS Cup here. I mean, that would have been crazy environment. Not to mention, maybe they would have been just a little bit warmer. But the fact that they actually have the MLS Cup and they're champions is pretty cool.
A Cinderella story, and especially after this final, winning in Toronto with that cold, with that against that team that Toronto was a big favorite. They had a 70% chance, according to the SPI index, and they pulled it off. I think the players they cannot believe it that they actually won the MLS Cup. I was able, when I talked to the players after they lift up the trophy, they say Nico Lodeiro talked to me. He said, "Well, I still can't grasp this that we just won. I cannot believe it."
All right. Really quick, Diego, I'm hearing that Cale Thompson has some breaking news. Cale, let's check in with you. What's going on?
Yeah, guys, very quickly, I want to pull up Air 4 Live 19, if we can take a look at this. The information that we're getting, this is what we know right now, is there has been an accident involving one of the trolleys, and we are hearing that this may be an officer that has been struck by one of the trolleys. Now, I want to clarify here that we don't know the extent of any injuries, but this is unfolding here as we speak. You can see others arriving. It looks like more emergency teams coming in to help whoever it was here that would have been struck by this trolley. We're working on getting you more information as we speak right now. I'll be back with an update here very soon.
All right, Cale, thank you very much, and our hearts go out to whoever that officer was, and it is certainly understandable how in this kind of a situation, as hard as you plan and as hard as you try to keep things safe, there are so many people in a concentrated area. There are only so many police officers, and it's easy to see how something can happen. We're now hearing, what was that?
Serious leg injury is what we're hearing,
Serious leg injury. Well, we certainly hate to hear that, and our hearts go out to that officer, and we hope that he or she is going to be all right. That is tough work with that many people concentrated in one area, a moving object, these trolleys. They're trying to protect the players, they're trying to protect the fans, and sometimes they fall in harm's way. So really unfortunate situation there.
And I think this is definitely holding up the rally from starting here. If you look closely at the trolley, you guys, you can see there's still players on board. There are still members of the team on board. They haven't really gotten off the trolley just yet. But if you're just tuning in, it looks like an officer suffered a serious leg injury after some kind of collision with one of the trolleys carrying the team as the team made its way towards Seattle Center where we are. One good thing, if you can call it that, is the one important factor. The trolleys were moving very slowly, as we saw earlier. So speed definitely a factor in making the incident not as bad as it could have been. But it looks like one of the four trolleys involved carrying the team towards Seattle Center struck an officer somehow and causing a serious leg injury. Paramedics and fellow officers on scene treating this injured officer. And it looks like the gate, the side door, the railing has opened now. So people may be getting off that particular trolley and heading towards Seattle Center. But at this time, we don't have an ETA for when the rally will begin. But one of the four trolleys involved in an accident in downtown Seattle.
Now, we certainly, again, hope that officer is going to be all right. And it looks like he or she is getting good care on the scene there right now. We are here as you see the main stage, and it is filled up, and a lot of people are anxious, and they're waiting. Someone just shouted, Seattle. And so we're going to do a bit of that for a while. He says they're moments away from getting this party underway here. And yes, the crowd has amassed. And this is the epicenter of the soccer world right now. This is the place to be, and we're thrilled to be here today.
It's pretty cool. You know, as we sit here and we talk soccer, and I don't know, Diego, how you feel about it, but I think
we're singing Christmas carols. Sorry.
Let's go with that.
Singing Christmas carols.
The shootout to end the game. We're such a results-oriented society. We saw how empty people felt when the Seahawks and Cardinals had a tie. Do you think you'd ever get to the point where MLS could differentiate itself and just have shootouts to have decided winners every week and forget the point for a tie?
Well, I don't think so. The way,
hate me.
It's interesting because for me, growing up playing soccer, coming from a soccer country, we don't see it that way when there's a tie, right, in a soccer match. I think that's also part of the beauty of this game, that it's unique. It's hard to score a goal, actually. So that's why there's not a lot of goals or not a lot of scoring. It's really, really hard because there's so many factors, and you're playing 90 minutes nonstop. There's a lot of intensity, a lot of running. And defining this moment when Roman Torres grabbed the ball and scored. And we could see, actually, I was in the back of that goal. They had the big Toronto Till I Die fan base there. So they had a lot of pressure, the Sounders. Yeah. They were booing them. And
I have to say, though, I am not a fan of deciding a huge match with a penalty kick, with those kicks, because it seems to me the goalie basically has to go one way or the other.
Right.
It's a guessing game, and I hate the fact that the MLS Cup is decided on a 50-50 guess. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I know that's a part of the game. I would rather them play for hours until somebody earned a goal.
But it's similar to hockey, right? The hockey shootout. At the end of the day,
but
to
the
define a
hockey
game,
goal is a lot smaller.
Yeah.
So that the goalie doesn't have to just dive to one side, right? The hockey goal is smaller. He has to defend it.
Yeah, but it's also hard to shoot a penalty. I still play soccer, and with that pressure and in a final, your legs are trembling. It's hard, even if you're a pro. I think it's. Well, the goal looks big, but for a player, when he's shooting the PK, it's really, really small.
A soccer purist will leave a 0-0 game and said it was the most beautiful thing they've seen. They call it a beautiful thing. Whereas, sometimes it's nice to have a result.
We were talking about them not having a shot on goal in the MLS Cup match. And I read a thing where Brian Schmetzer said after the game, I wish we would have played better. I wish we didn't win it that way, but I'm not taking anything back, and I'm glad we won it. And here we are. The fruits of those efforts are being seen right here today. Thousands of people in this great city gathered in one place to pay homage, to celebrate, to cry and laugh and chant and sing and all of those things. It really is a wonderful thing to see as we, again, continue to wait for the team and the players to show up.
A little fact, movie fact, film fact about Torres. Panama national team, but he also played down in Colombia. Does anybody watch Narcos? Have you seen Narcos on Netflix?
Netflix, yeah.
Now, one thing that they pointed out, I was watching this on the plane coming home back from Green Bay yesterday. One thing they pointed out, at one point in the 80s, 7 of 9 professional soccer teams in Colombia were run and owned by drug lords.
Is that right?
And the Milaneros, which is where Torres played, was one of the teams owned by one of the drug guys who were supposed to sell it.
Wow.
But that little trivia there is,
that is
you see the show, Milaneros, there's your connection to Torres.
Yeah.
He's got nothing to do with the drug cartel.
Okay.
But the show.
He's
Thanks for clarifying, Mike.
Just so we're clear.
Well, all right, if you're just tuning in, special coverage of the MLS Cup Victory Parade. All the Sounders fans, the team, the coaches, thousands of people waiting for this rally to start at Seattle Center at the lawn here, Fisher Lawn. It was supposed to start at noon, but there was a small hiccup during the celebration, one of the trolleys carrying the team was involved in some kind of collision with an officer, and that officer suffered a serious leg injury in the process. The officer is okay, but that trolley, again, was carrying some members of the team, and so it really slowed everything down. Hopefully, though, it sounds like they are slowly making their way towards the stage where fans are waiting for them.
You know,
and that's
Mary,
what's going on
I'm
now.
a little concerned, mostly for you. You have a show at 4 o'clock.
I know.
If this thing doesn't get going pretty soon, we might lose Mary Knauss.
They're
And then what
starting
are we
to jump
gonna
around,
do?
though, now.
Oh, now they're
Here we
starting to
go.
pogo.
Yep.
You know what? It's kind of cold. When you're just sitting or standing out here, you guys, it's really cold. So if I could be jumping around like that, I would be doing that.
You know, this
Jumping
scaffolding
around.
isn't that secure.
it's
I'm going to
not
have to
gonna
ask
hold.
you not to do that. But yeah, that's fun. They're bouncing around. There is a certain energy. Really, the energy that we feel right now can only be provided by a sporting event or
Right.
celebration.
Yeah.
Am I right?
That's right.
And just a lot of fun. A lot of people enjoying themselves. Like we said, we saw a march on 4th Avenue that we were all happy to see today.
That was really cool. And Mike, now I can't stop thinking and looking at that star.
Right.
The
Now you need all
logo, the
these Sounders
Sounders logo.
Yeah.
The star differentiates the team now from the past, and it's so cool to see that.
Yeah, they do it with also in the World Cup with national teams. That's why Brazil has 5. The Brazilian
Yes.
team, and that star is in soccer. All the clubs also they like to highlight the amount of.
Let me
cups
ask you this, Diego. You've been around this game so much. I'm half Spaniard. I have visited my relatives in Spain during the European Championships, and I've watched that level of soccer with my family and seen the fervor and the excitement that surrounds it, and have really been boggled and amazed at the sheer brilliance of that level of soccer. How does MLS soccer rate compared to some of the best European clubs and teams?
I think it's still growing, and like we said before, compared to 2008, now it's a better league for sure. But you cannot compare it still to the big leagues in Europe. I think there's still a big difference. Even with the Mexican league that's been for a long time, I think there's still that. I would say culture-wise, it's a bit different. And here in the U.S., you have there's a lot of sports to compete against with NFL, baseball, NBA, basketball. I think it's going to keep growing, but I don't know if it's going to be one day it's going to be compared to the Spanish league, for example.
But getting closer.
It could get closer, yes. And I think also the players are improving, and also the U.S. national team is a better team now than back in 1994 when we hosted the World Cup.
All right, let's get an update from Como's Steve McCarron. Steve, are you there?
I am here. I haven't been able to see where you guys are, though. We're just north of the International Fountain, so we're a distance away from the stage here. But all these folks are anxiously awaiting for the team to arrive. I noticed that Rebecca's been standing here for a couple of minutes. Rebecca, how are you feeling right now?
Fabulous.
Tell me about this morning and what it's been like to be a part of this journey today, and just, to watch the team, to wait for them to get here and just celebrate this.
Overwhelming. Amazing.
What are you most proud of, would you say?
Just our Sounders in general. Going from the bottom to the top. Woo!
MLS Cup, baby! How are you feeling?
I'm on such a high right now. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah. Hard to describe, isn't it?
Very hard. It's so fun. So
You're
fun.
just anxious to see the team arrive and start the celebration, right?
Yeah. Got my scarf from Jones. Woo! Yeah.
Now, did you walk around the route as well?
Yes.
Tell me what that was like to be a part of that.
So many people. It was just crazy, but so fun, and having all the love around with all the Sounders, and it was great.
Every teammate.
What is this?
Signatures from every player on our team. Everybody was so cool. Number one, MLS Cup.
And did you get those essentially all in one time, or just all over the season?
Trolley. We threw it up
just
on
now.
the bus, and every one of them passed it around and signed it for us.
That'll be a keepsake for sure, right?
Framed when we get home. 2016, that's history.
So you guys aren't excited or anything, are you? No? No? Okay, give me a cheer.
Yeah.
I don't think they're anxious at all for the team to arrive, you guys.
You know, what other pro sport can someone get a jersey with every single player's signature on it? Think about that.
Cool.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. And you're starting to realize that I think a lot of kids did get out of school. There's one of them right there. Lucky for him, he's not at school today. And a lot of these fans skipped work, skipped college, said whatever have to happen, I am going to be at that celebration.
It's just a case of Soundersitis. That's okay.
Soundersitis.
Hey, you guys, we saw this happen with the Seahawks when they won the Super Bowl. Teams change from year to year. And I remember the year after the Super Bowl, we lost some players that everyone had become, had fallen in love with. That's going to happen with this team as well, isn't it?
Right.
Yes, and we already know some players that they're not going to get re-signed for next MLS season. I would say one of the important players, Nelson Edo Valdez, the Paraguayan, the forward, one of the franchise players the last couple of years. He's not getting the option to resign now. So he's going to go to the MLS expansion, and probably he's going to change to another team. Also, Hercules Gomez, the U.S. international that played this season for the Seattle Sounders, he's not getting renewed. Also, Eric Freeberg, I believe. So there's a bunch of experienced players that they won't be here for next season.
But that's where an organization comes in, right? That's where having a great organization means that you have a confidence that they're going to go out and find somebody else.
They go through scouting. They'll have their draft coming up. That's where they got Jordan Morris officially right through the draft, and so there's going to be younger guys that are coming up, and with that academy that they have, they know exactly what type of player they need. But there's and I know that every GM, Garth is out there looking at guys saying, I know his situation. He'd be a good fit for exactly what I need. And they're, Lagerwey is just getting a chance to put his touch on this club. And so I'm sure we'll see a lot of different guys come on that will only strengthen the roster.
Yeah, and I think the organization is making the right move because the players that are not getting re-signed, they didn't have a great season. For example, Nelson Edo Valdez, one of the big players, he scored a goal in the playoffs, actually.
Right.
During the entire regular season, he didn't score. He missed a lot of chances. He came from Germany, playing a lot of years in Germany, a good international Paraguayan player. But this season particularly wasn't his best, and that's why one of the reasons that he's not getting next year back in the team.
Didn't he go like a whole year between goals?
Well, it was a full year, calendar year actually.
Right, but you got one when it really counted. So.
And the season before was a better season, but I think with these players, and it's also a big opportunity for the Sounders to get youngsters from the draft and also from Sounders FC2, the Sounders team that plays in the USL, the lower division. So that's also a good opportunity to.
Well, so here we are, you guys, a team, really, this is going to be a season that will be talked about in soccer circles for a long time. They start out 6-12-2. They fire their coach. They bring in a new guy. They lose their franchise player. But after they fire their coach, they go 12-3-5. They sneak into the playoffs. They advance to the MLS Cup. They don't get a shot on goal, and they win the championship. And here we are at Seattle Center after all of that, celebrating this victory march and victory parade. And we're waiting for players and coaches to show up.
All right. KOMO's Molly Shin is live on the phone now. She's at the scene of that trolley accident. What's going on there, Molly?
Oh, gosh, you guys. I mean, what a terrible thing to have happen on such a big day of a celebration. We're right at the intersection of Mercer and Queen Anne. They've got the entire thing blocked off, and one of the trolleys is still sitting here. Everybody else is filed off. And there is a bicycle officer's bicycle absolutely crunched underneath the front left wheel. I just talked to a witness who told me that this is the trolley he just happened to be, running along with during the entire parade route. And he says that as the trolley was making a turn and the bicycle officer was in the front just kind of keeping the crowds far enough away, that the two just got a little bit too close together, and the front wheel of the bicycle officer's bike and the front wheel of the trolley came together, and it just sucked that officer underneath. He described the officer as still conscious, and I saw that officer being loaded into the ambulance as well. It just obviously, though, in terrible pain, and the witness said that, from his perspective, it looked like the officer was probably in shock, and his leg had been pretty much crunched underneath that wheel as well. So there's still a big police presence here. They have gotten the officer away, headed now to the hospital, and there's nobody else here still related to the parade itself, so I think that they are still headed actually towards Seattle Center, and this part of it is still the accident investigation, but separate now and shouldn't hold up the actual event there too much longer. But yeah, just an awful thing. He told me it's the funnest day he's ever seen in Seattle up until witnessing this terrible event.
All right, Molly, thank you very much for that update. And again, if you're watching from home, this is not live video. This was video taken a few minutes ago when the officer on a bike somehow collided with that trolley. And we're told he has been taken to the hospital with a serious leg injury. But at last check, he was conscious and talking, which is a great sign. Still no ETA on when this rally here might actually get underway at Seattle Center. Thousands of Sounders fans patiently waiting. Moving around, listening to music, kicking around soccer balls. Everyone's all smiles, though, as we wait for this rally to get underway. And, boy, I am staring at a whole lot of kids, you guys. There are a lot of kids who did not go to school today, and it did not snow.
Watch out, kids. Mary's coming for you. You're in trouble. Right
you
there.
Can blame,
Look at
it. You can blame
see all your
Brad
faces.
Evans, for sure.
I love it, though. As a parent, these things only happen once in a great while. I remember with the Seahawks. You know what? This is a big deal. You're not going to school today. We'll make up the homework. We'll do whatever we have to do.
Right.
But you want to share these kinds of memories with your children. You want them to remember it and tell stories about it to their children. I love it. I love seeing all the kids, and I love feeling the energy that we're feeling out here today. If you're just joining us, maybe you turned on the TV on your lunch break. It all kicked off at 11 o'clock at Westlake Park. They went up 4th Avenue. In trolleys, the coaches and players in trolleys. They made their way slowly through the city, signing autographs along the way, doing interviews from the trolley, screaming fans, lots of scarves, lots of color, lots of singing and chanting, and that is the end result. A lot of those people that made that march along the way are here now at Seattle Center. I don't know. I'm not a very good judge of numbers. I'd say there's 3,000-4,000 people there at least, waiting. And what that picture doesn't show, the wider shot, is there's people all around the edge of that as well, with good vantage points waiting for what's going to transpire on that stage. They're playing music right now. We've heard some chanting amongst the players, and now I think they're tired of chanting. They just want to see Brian Schmetzer. They want to see the players. They want to get this show rolling.
Well, they're about to jump around.
Yeah.
Jump around.
Yeah.
They do this at Wisconsin quite a bit.
What's that?
Wisconsin football. This is their big deal.
Oh.
They jump around in between the third and fourth quarter.
So, Diego, do the guys, will they get a break after this? Because soccer goes year-round pretty much based on what you said.
Yeah, they have a 6-week break.
6-week break, all right.
Yeah, so most of the international players will go back to their countries. I talked to Nico Lodeiro. He's going back to Uruguay to spend Christmas with his family. Who else? Ericus is going to California. Most of the players will take some time off, and, well, they deserve it, but they know they don't have a lot of vacation because they won the MLS Cup, so they need to get back.
It's kind of cool that we are here at Seattle Center, and it does hold sort of a traditional sort of spot in the hearts of soccer fans, because when this was an NASL team, they started playing their games at Memorial Stadium right next door, and that was clear back in 1974. And I've heard people say that even back then, this was a soccer town. That was before I got to Seattle. But the roots of soccer in this community go really deep.
They really do, and I think if you look at the Sounders' influence, as we talked about the youth levels. If you've never been to Starfire in Tukwila, take a ride down there.
Place is amazing.
It's a fortress of soccer.
Yeah.
And at the very back of it is where the Sounders train. And there's kind of this little something to it, like you got to take that journey through those smaller fields, through where some of the kids play, to get to that big spot where the pros are. And it's just a cool place. The fact, like you said, that they're so accessible down there and people can go and actually see training and be around the players on a regular basis is pretty cool. They've weaved they've woven themselves into this fabric of Seattle.
Well, I think a lot of those teams, a lot of those academies and those youth teams are here today.
Right.
I'll bet if you walked along and asked a lot of these kids, they will tell you, yeah, I'm a player. I play for this club. I play for this team. And they all dream of this, right? This is a dream come true, much as the Seahawks parade was a dream come true for young football players. What we're seeing today is the culmination of a dream for these players. I mean, these are kids that started in all different countries around the world. I don't know how many countries are represented by the Sounders roster, but probably 10 or 12 countries.
Right.
They've all dreamed of this, and now here they are, and this is what they get for it, a big party.
Yeah, and it's amazing to be honest. The first time I came to Seattle 8 years ago as a tourist, I came visiting before I came to live here. I was surprised by how many soccer fields were in the city, and how many people play soccer. Coming from Spain, that it's a soccer country, I didn't expect to see so many soccer fields in the Seattle area. And there's, like you said, there's so many teams for kids, and the soccer is still growing in this country, and also in this city particularly. And I think the team now every game, every 2 weeks, there's around 40,000 fans that go to the games.
Wow.
And they say that in 5 years they're gonna open the whole stadium, like the Seahawks games, to have at least 68,000 fans.
Isn't that
per
something?
game.
Isn't that something?
There's Matt Johnson.
Born and raised in
Oh, here we go.
I'm so happy to be here. How are we doing today? No. That's not good enough. MLS champions, how are we doing today? Little better. How cool is this for us that grew up here? We are in the Seattle Center, Key Arena, the Space Needle, and it all started behind us 42 years ago at Memorial Stadium. It's where it all began. There's a number of ex-players, past and present here, that played at the stadium. Dave Gillett is here. Jimmy Gabriel is here. Move along to Alan Hinton, of course he's here. Casey Keller, Marcus Hanneman, Roger Levesque, and you. All right, it was a crazy run, but really it all started back in January. The team we're going to celebrate with has been working together for us since last January, but the run was amazing. Historic. Knockout round feels like about a year and a half ago versus KC. Check. FC Dallas, check. Colorado, check. Bring on Toronto. Right? PKs. That stuff's tough on the nerves, man. That is tough on the nerves. But what amazing PKs when it mattered, right? I mean, Jovan Jones, are you kidding? Nicholas Ladero showing his class. Unbelievable. And then up steps Ramon Torres. I mean, how cool is that? That's right. Ramon Torres steps up, 3 yards back, boom, and we're all here today. All right, enough about all that. Let's get things going. We're flattered. We have distinguished guests with us today. The mayor, Ed Murray, is with us. King County Executive Dow Constantine, and retiring longtime congressman and a huge fan of the beautiful game, Jim McDermott. Mayor.
So, I just want to take one moment, just one moment. We had a police officer injured in the parade a few minutes ago. So what I'd like us to do, there are police officers all around here. Let's give a big cheer for what the Seattle Police Department does every day for the people of the city of Seattle. So, over 40 years ago, right here it all began. And blood, sweat, and many cheers later, here we are. Seattle Sounders, the best soccer team in the world. So congratulations to the team and to all their players. I particularly want to thank Brian Schmetzer, their coach. Let's hear it for their coach. And let's hear it for Stephen Fry. And so, on behalf of the people of the city of Seattle and the council, I proclaim today in the city of Seattle, Sounders Day.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, first, and most importantly, first of all, I'm Dow Constant, I'm your King County Executive. I got one thing to say. Seattle! 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 I always wanted to do that. Thank you. So here we are. Our side, our team, the greatest team in the MLS. We brought it home. And it's because you are the greatest fans. I've been a season ticket holder since day one. And so has this man, Congressman Jim McDermott. Sonic Sky, you're next. Now this guy is retiring after decades of service to our community and our state. And I just want to say on behalf of everyone here, you're welcome for your parting gift. An MLS Cup. You know, this cup belongs to all of you fans, but especially these remarkable players and coaches and Brian Schmetzer's Rave Green Army. Congratulations, Coach. I mean, don't call it a comeback, but last place to championship? Seriously. And players like our own Mercer Island, Jordan Morris, and El Corazon de los Sounders, Captain Ozzy Alonso. They became a national force. And in freezing conditions, on a hostile pitch, facing a downpour of, streamers and cups, we kept her cool. We kept her focus. And we showed what endurance looks like. From all around the world, from all points in the globe, right here in the Northwest, we showed what it means to never give up and never give in. This moment is for all those soccer moms and dads who stood in the pouring rain and cold watching their kids play. It's for all the fans like me and many of you who were here back in the 1970s at Memorial Stadium cheering on the NASL Sounders. It's for everyone who has packed CenturyLink and everyone who has trudged along on the road to go to our away games. It's for everyone who loves to see these players play the beautiful game across the world and represent our region with such grace and such skill. This moment belongs to you, Seattle! 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 Ladies and gentlemen, number one Sounders fan, Congressman Jim McDermott.
I want you to look at the back of my jersey. I was born in Chicago a long time ago, and I waited 80 or 71 years for the Cubs to win the World Series. And when they won, I said to my staff, we're going to be national champions in soccer this year. This is our year. I started my watching of this team and this city's soccer over in Memorial Stadium when Jimmy Gabriel and Alan Hinton and Mike England, and we have been the best city for soccer in this country ever since. My season tickets are in the front row of the upper deck, right at the 50-yard line or whatever, and midfield. And I looked down on the game, and I remember sitting there with my brother and my sister. We've had these tickets all the time. We were wondering in July, what is happening? What is going to happen? What is our future? You remember that. We remember we lost Obafemi Martin, and then Clint Dempsey had his problem, and we just went after. It was like there was no hope. But if you stick together and fight together and pull together and don't worry about the credit for you, worry about passing it to the other person, that makes a team. And I'm not going to mention any of the players because this is a team. This is a team effort that won, and we are really, really, really proud of the Sounders. So thank you all for coming and for your support. We'll see you next year.
Yeah, keep going. We got all day. We got nowhere to be. This is where we're supposed to be, right here. Well, yeah, we're not finished. Ozzy, yeah, we are finished. All right, let's bring our ownership group. Adrian Hanauer, Joe Roth, President of Soccer, Garth Lagerwey. Adrian Hanauer.
...2016 MLS Cup champions. It's been a long eight years, but we are so excited that we're finally there. Where's that logo? Can we pull that logo back up onto the screen? There's a beautiful... But, I was looking at that this morning, and I was thinking, that would be even better, a little more balanced with 2 stars up there, right? So I know Ozzy's phrase was, we're not finished yet, but we're finished for this year, but we're just getting started. So we wanted to march to the Seattle Center, to the shadow of Memorial Stadium where it all got started. I see a lot of kids out there. I was an 8-year-old when I went to the games first in Memorial Stadium. And for sure, it's about the roots. But today is about the current team and coaches, those 30 guys who are going to greet you here in a minute. They busted their butts all year against the odds, and we're so happy to bring a championship back to Seattle. And finally, again, this is about the players and the coaches, but it's about you, our fans. You guys rock. You supported us all year long. This cup is for the entire state of Washington, this region. We're so proud that you're here and that you've supported us for all this time. We love you. And now I'm going to pass it off to my fantastic partner, Joe Roth.
Thanks, Adrian. I love seeing all these kids cutting school today. Yeah! What a better way to do it. You are, without doubt, the best fans in America in any sport. Any sport. You know, 9 years ago, I was sitting in New York talking to the commissioner and said, you know, I want to start a soccer team or restart a soccer team. He said, go to the Northwest. So I went to Portland. I went to Vancouver. I came to Seattle. I went back to New York, gave my report to the commissioner. I said, you know, I think Portland and Vancouver can work, but I want Seattle. And that was 9 years ago. And I don't think there's any team I can think of in any sport that came in as an expansion team, made the playoffs all 8 years, and then won the championship. And I have to tell you, the experience in Toronto, I don't ever want to see the color red again. These guys thought they won the championship. They thought we were the Christians and they were the Lions. They thought the game was over before we started. I said, I hope it doesn't snow. They said, you're going to lose anyway. So that was the experience there. So it was extremely, extremely exciting to see the Sunday morning paper in Toronto with war headlines saying heartbreak in red. So hopefully this is one of many. It's been an unbelievable year, risen from the ashes, and we have a lot of people to thank for. Certainly Garth, who's going to talk to our general manager, but more than anything, we thank you.
Thanks, Joe. 30 for 30 at least, right? Man, who would have thought we'd be here? We did. We got a resilient group. We overcame some things. We fought back. We persevered. It was unbelievable. I want to start by saying thank you, obviously, to all of you guys, but also thank you, Joe Roth. Thank you, Adrian Hanauer, for given me this opportunity. And this team didn't emerge overnight over the last 3 or 4 transfer windows. We have guys like Zach Scott, Brad Evans, Chad Marshall that have been here from day one. Ozzie Alonso, thank you. Big omission there, my apologies. And you can tell, I didn't sign all those guys originally, he did. So, a credit to Adrian Hanauer as the GM who built the foundation for this thing, because championships are not won in a transfer window or a season, they're built on a foundation over a long period of time. And Adrian Hanauer built the foundation for this club. And when we talk about bringing in big signings, you need resources for that. All of you provide the resources for us, and our ownership has given them to the team to spend on players like Nicholas Lodeiro. And that's something special. Not very many teams get that opportunity. And Clint Dempsey. Jeez, I keep forgetting everybody here. Anyway, duh. We got an awesome team. We're going to get them up here pretty quick. You don't have to listen to any more Suits talk. But thank you so much. Not just for the last year or 2 years, however long I've been here as a newcomer, but the last 8 years and going back to the last 40-something years for all of you who have been here since the inception of the Sounders and have made this the best soccer city in America. And I am so lucky to be here. Thank you so much.
Another round of applause. Ownership, Garth Lagerwey. We're almost there. I know what you want. But let's take a look at the video of how we got here.
on hand for this one. It's Seattle and Toronto for MLS Cup 2016. Torres went to ground early. Now the cross out to Nor. What a save by Fry! Wow! We're going to penalties to decide MLS Cup 2016. Jovan Jones, left back for Seattle, going into the final round of the shootout. How about that composure? Top corner. How about that from Ladero? And we're going to bonus rounds. Justin Morrow against Stephen Fry. Seattle now a kick away from winning it. Roman Torres to win MLS Cup for Seattle, which he has done. The Seattle Sounders have done it. MLS Cup winners in 2016.
How about that? All right, you've waited long enough. Let's get the players out here, the coaches, the trophy. James Woolard, come on out. Introduce this squad.
It's my pleasure to introduce head coach Brian. Number 1, Tyler. Number 2, Clint. Number 3, Brad. Number 5, Jimmy. Number 7, Christian.
Number 8, Eric. Number 9, Hercules. Number 10, Nicolas. Number 13, Jordan. Number 14, Chad. Number 15, Dylan. Number 16, Nelson. Number 17, Darwin. Number 18, Nathan. Number 20, Zach. Number 22, Charlie. Number 21, Alvaro. Fernandez. Number 23, Andreas. Number 25, Tony. Number 29, Roman. Number 31, Damien. Number 33, Joven. Number 39, Olex. And number 80, Victor. And your MLS Cup MVP, number 24, Stefan. And your captain, number 6, Osvaldo.
You want me to close it?
Yeah, wait. Go ahead, now, go ahead.
And that's your 2016 MLS Cup champions, Seattle Sounders Football Club.
I'm giving him the mic, or am I asking a question?
Give him the mic.
Yeah, we could do this all day. Let's hear from your captain, Ozzie Alonso. Ozzie.
Thank you so much. We are the champion! Seattle! 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 Yeah!
Zach Scott will be up here. Stephen Fry, MVP. You want to go next? Whoever wants to go next. Zach Scott, please.
Jingle bells? Okay. All right, so we have a something that we do after every away win, and we only do it after our away wins, but we'd love for you to join us in one more time to celebrate this championship. So the only part you need to know, it's jingle bells, but the only part you need to know is, you know it? You can do it? Okay. All right, so on my count. Oh, jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to see Seattle win away. Hey, jingle bell, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to see Seattle win away. Hey! Woohoo! Where's Steph? MVP! MVP! The save. The save.
We're all MVPs. No, I just want to say thank you for all the support. I believe success thrives in a positive environment, and you guys are the cornerstone of that. So this win is for you. Keep doing your thing, and we'll try to keep bringing trophies home for you. Love you. Go Seattle.
Ramon Torres. Yes, Chase, come on. Come on. All right, we won't make him dance. He's a brutal dancer, so let's not do that. Jordan Morton.
No, I'm not gonna dance. I'm not gonna dance. No. Hey, mate. No. But no, I'm just gonna talk. No, it's okay. Guys, just want to say thank you. Growing up here, being a fan of Seattle sports, it's amazing to see what you guys do, and I know that me and the whole team appreciate your guys' support. So thank you so much. We love you guys. I'll dance next year.
Christian Roldan. Christian, get up here. Get up here.
I wish I had a pizza right now. No, thank you guys. Just thank you guys for everything that you guys do. This is for you guys. We just can't thank you guys enough, and I'm a little nervous. I didn't prepare for this, but I appreciate it, and I want Chad to dance and Jordan, but I don't know if they'll actually do it. But thank you.
Yeah, good idea. Thank you. Thank you, Hercules, and thank you, Nelson. Chad Marshall, come on up, please.
What's good? Hey guys, I'm Chad. So happy to be here, share this moment with you guys. We love you. Let's win another one.
No, Brad? No? All right. Come on, Brad. Come on, Brad. Come on, Brad. Brad Evans.
Hey, guys. Just want to say thank you on behalf of the team, everybody. I mean, you've heard it a million times. We appreciate you so much, and we will continue to build. One is not good enough. We'll go after two.
All right. Your coach, Nathan Hale grad. Clint Dempsey.
What's up?
Got the rope.
Appreciate y'all. All I gotta say is now that we won one, Portland can't say shit.
All right. Hope you're on delay. Now the coach. Your coach, Brian Schmetzer.
You guys heard that. I love it. A little bit of smack talk. It's good. So I know what this is all about. It's the relationship that you guys have with these players. That's what this club is all about. And I would just like to say, how did we get there? I mean, how did we actually get this and make this accomplished? Well, it started back there in that stadium over there. I saw the photo of Adrian and John Best, Jimmy Gabriel, who's up there in the VIP booth with Pepe Fernandez and Dave Gillett. There was a lot of people here that started right over there. The seeds were started to plant in 1974. And you fast forward that to the 80s when Alan Hinton, Mr. Sounder himself, he brought a lot of success for the team in the 80s. And it was great. The Kingdome, Alan's personality as big as a Kingdome. Those were great days. Those were fun days. I remember going there to watch some of the stars that were playing in those days. And then it jumped forward a little bit. Okay, we had some lean years, but nobody stopped playing. Everybody loves to play this sport. These guys love to play the sport. Every day at training, they love to play. My buddies and I used to kick the soccer ball around the Lake City Hawks. My buddies Misha Lee, GJ, down at Nathan Hale and John Rogers Elementary School. Those were great days. I wouldn't trade them for anything. There you go. We fast forward to the song that Zach sung. Neil Megson and Bernie James, the guys that were stewards of the club back in the A-League, they were the ones that made that song happen. And that's a tradition that was, certainly thankful that I had the opportunity to sing many, many times, Jingle Bells. The legend of Zach Scott started in that stadium. My buddy Chance Fry was telling me at the open tryout, man, you got to sign that guy because he is crushing every single header in that thing. So that legend started right there. How many of you, we're moving forward now, how many of you were there in 2005 and 2007? How many of you were there in the launch in 2009? These are all moments that we will never forget. Okay? We will never forget these moments. But what has it all culminated to? To these guys right here, yes. And it culminated with our first MLS Cup championship right here. And I'm going to end this here. I want to say thanks. I want to say thanks to my wife, Christine, my family, everybody here that supports me. I want to say thank you to Ante, Dave, Jimmy, and Tommy Dutra, all the coaches, all of the staff, Tommy Dutra made Stefan Fry. Tommy Dutra made Stefan Fry. There he is. Yeah, there he is.
Hey, that's all him. That's
Best
all him.
goalkeeper
No.
coach in the league.
That's all him.
I want to say thank you, and thank you. But what I really want to do is thank them. The 2016 MLS Cup champions. Let's thank them.
Thank you, Coach. Louder. Louder. Yeah, all day. All day. Why not? We're not going anywhere. All right, thank you so much. One last round of applause for your 2016 MLS champions. These are your team. Thank you so much for coming. We've had a blast. Come on up here.
Thank you, sir.
Well, all right, there you have it. A great day in Seattle sports history. The victory march for your 2016 MLS Cup champion Seattle Sounders. I loved when Brian Schmetzer gave that little history lesson. I love Stephen Fry saying success thrives in a positive environment because, of course, that's what we all have witnessed today and all through the entirety of this franchise. And I loved Christian Roldan saying, "I wish I had a pizza right now."
Me too. For all of us.
Thoughts, Mike?
Just, these guys train hard every day. They're professionals. And to get to the top of that mountain, to be a champion in your sport, in a professional sport where it is the best of the best, that's pretty hard to do. It's a great celebration of their talent, their commitment to excellence, and the fans. It's just a really neat franchise to be a part of and have in this city.
They pulled it off. Diego?
Yeah, I think this is the culmination of so many players finally win that MLS Cup, like Zach Scott, that he's been 15 years with the team, Brad Evans, even Clint Dempsey, that he wasn't playing at the end. And also it's a recognition to all the fans that they go every single game to support that team. Doesn't matter if they win or they lose. So congratulations to the city and to the team.
And as the players have said, one is not enough, right?
Right. They'll be back for 2017.
Well, that's it for us, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. What a morning it has been to celebrate with the Seattle Sounders. We're going to wrap it up and take you back to General Hospital in progress. For those of you who missed it, you can catch it at 3 a.m. Of course, as far as the celebration rally, the victory reaction from the fans as well as the team, look for complete wrap-up and coverage beginning at First News at 4. Thanks for watching.
See you later.
See you.